we have a speech from Jason Reardon, who is our candidate for Bracknell Forest, and he's going to talk about why he joined the Heritage Party. So, come on up, Jason.
I like him. What more do you need? Forgive me. Okay. I'd just like to leave a little quote, which I found, just a snippet from a long quote actually, from Lao Tzu. When taxes are too high, the people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Well, how appropriate for David Curtin, because that's what he's doing. And that's what we're doing. We're all behind him, putting all our time and energy and our talents, which this country has many of. We are entering a new era of politics. It's just about to be turned on its head. Without a doubt. You can hear it, even though some people aren't screaming it. They are demanding truthfulness, honesty, integrity, and that's what David Curtin has. Thank you. And this is what when I saw David speaking many times, and that was a tick in my box, because every march there was, he was there. And did an absolute fantastic speech in Trafalgar Square amongst thousands of people. I only wish more actually heard it and took it home in their heart, and we're here today. But I'm sure it's still there, it's seeded. But he was there side by side by his people of this nation, who were suffering, were crying out that this is not right, what was going on through the COVID regime. But he was there with his people. You had the odd comments from like Richard Dyes here and there, but where was he? Where was he? Sitting in a comfortable studio, just with a little bit of opinion. Did he really object to what was going on? Not really. Did he stand by his people in anywhere? Not really. But who was? Who was there in the cold, the rain, the sunshine, standing by his people? Being proud, being bold, and risking arrest. I was arrested. I was there, I think, a year and a half ago, standing up for the children's rights not to be jabbed. All I did was put my forearm up to protect myself as the territorials came in with a heavy hand. I had right to put a barrier between them and me, to allow myself time and my partner to get off the road. 4 hours later, we thought everything was good. And I had 6 policemen chase me, surrounded me, and read me my rights. Which, with law and order, I did say, do you understand? No, I do not. So in other words, I did not consent. I was handcuffed for 2 hours. An hour, more or less, the rigmarole of being arrested, Parliament Square. The time I arrived at the station, then I was told that they were busy, and I was to stand outside with a guard for another hour with my hands behind my back. I was then contained for 15 hours in solitary. Now, the charges were, apparently I hit a police officer not once but twice in the face. An utter, blatant lie. But I knew the game, and obviously I was released on suspicion. And believe it or not, because obviously I was a protester, standing up for our liberty, I was released on suspicion, meaning, even though it was proven on camera that I did not strike anybody, which I've never been arrested before, I've always known it's a no-no with the law. It's a no-win situation. But they insisted that there might be a different angle of camera, on the camera, to see if I might have hit. But if you haven't hit someone, it doesn't matter what angle the camera is, you haven't hit someone. Until I talked to a friend, not that I could afford him, but a friend who was a barrister. And I thought, how lethal things are coming. Not only was it a lie, but apparently the charges would have been double because I was accused of hitting a police officer twice. Once is an offence. Twice, because you've repeated the act, is a very serious offence. So could I have gone to prison on a lie? This actually confirmed to me what David was trying to stop. Imagine that what could have been wasted my life, minimum of 10 years, maybe out earlier, maybe not, on a lie. Because I dared to confront the regime. Because I dared, like David was talking proudly earlier, of our constitution. My voice had right to be heard. I offended nobody. I stood my ground to civilly protest. And this is the vision, what David knew what we were up against. This is how we had to fight. And I do believe that's why he decided to start a political party. Because you need power to stop this.
Yes, you do.
And there's three things I saw in David. With my glasses. Integrity,
Yeah.
wisdom, and bravery. If I can acquire those just by knocking on someone's door, without going on GB News, without going in front of marches, speaking to thousands of people, I'll be very proud to follow in this man's footsteps and back him all the way. Integrity means honesty and morals. Well, what morals and honesty can you have by sticking to your guns and never swerving to the left or swerving to the right to save public opinion? This is who we are. This is what we stand for. You like it or you don't. That's a democracy. His wisdom. He's the only politician when the Ukraine trouble started, talked about solution over the table.
Yes, you did. Yeah, very good.
One thing what really struck me that no politician or no one talked about was that the fact that he was talking about saving life. All life. Yeah. Ukrainian life, Russian life,
Yes.
and the effects of the economy, allegedly, on life here. Because it will affect your health, it will affect your life, especially our elderly and the poor. Or the poor and elderly, I should say. I mean, what qualities in a man do you want? That says it all. The rest just follows. Bravery. He was risking arrest. He's being watched. He puts himself in the front firing line, everywhere. So I thought when I got arrested, imagine what what they would try and pin on him if they didn't like what he was saying against the regime. When you saw David, or luckily, maybe in one way, maybe you didn't, because it made me so bloody angry when I saw David up against Richard Tice and Piers Morgan. Tweedledum and Tweedledee, I call them. But the lack of intelligence.
Yeah.
All they had was, you're mad, he's a bully. Was there any intellectual discussion? Listening, manners, etiquette?
No.
David says his piece, then they intellectually argue with David, if they have an argument. But they did not. So you're seeing blatantly the regime, what David's tackling and prepared to put himself in the den. I'm a firm believer, I believe in God myself. And the way to bring the devil down sometimes is to step in his realm, which is mainstream media. And fair play to you, David. It takes a lot of guts to take that on, what you did the other night especially. But that was foolproof of the regime. One quality I love about the Heritage Party, liberty and free speech. Because without these two qualities, can you really enjoy this, this and this?
No.
Without liberty and free speech, what are you? What are you? Are you a slave? Because without those two qualities, you're a slave. Do you want to be a slave? Yes? No? Do you want to be a slave? I ask you one more time. Do you want to be a slave? No. I guess not. That's why you're here. Also, just for a little pause, I would like you to look over to that land outside. I'm just trying to waste time, actually. But please, just look at that land. Do you want to be a free man and a free woman, to be free to go and enjoy that landscape? Whenever you want, wherever you want. This is why you're here. So you have that freedom, and the freedom for our children and our future. My mother had me quite late in life, and I thought she'd be proud of me, because she's passed away, God bless her soul. But she was evacuated here and there during the war. Stubborn woman. She remembers all the Spitfires, having all the dogfights on Messerschmitts over the White City flats. She was actually nearly machine gunned on Shepherd's Market, returning from school, from Saturday morning school. So she knows firsthand what tyranny could be. I remember her nightmares of the whole sky full of German parachutes. Frightened of that tyranny. So thinking on that, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I shall never allow my country to fall to any type of tyranny, whether it be afar or my own government. Never. And this is why I'm prepared to put time and energy, as you are, to do everything I can, any bit of talent I have, to put this man firstly in Westminster.
Yeah.
First step, which he will be, I've decided.
Yeah.
Then Prime Minister.
Yes.
If we're to use the tool of wokeness, let's have the first black Prime Minister. If we're going to use the tool against them, why haven't we had one? It's funny, that, isn't it? Reshuffle the cabinet. But all the leaders are always white. Funny that, isn't it? So let's use a bit of their agenda. Let's have our first black Prime Minister. But not because he's black, because he's moral, he's decent, and he has integrity. And that's the future of this country. Most of us don't see colour. We just see a brave man fighting for his country and his liberty. And is willing to stand in front of a party and take it head on. I love my country. And I know you do, or wherever you're from. But while you're here, and you're settled here, and you're working here, that Union Jack represents you from wherever you are, because you live and work here. We aren't against immigration, at all. All we want to know is, are you willing to abide by the law of the land, mix, blend, unite, and enjoy life? That's all we ask. We are a tolerant nation, and I don't mean that condescending to other nations. But my mother, after the war, she had Jamaican friends, Jewish friends, and Irish friends, obviously English friends. But she always used to say to me, as long as they're nice to me, Jason, I'm nice to them. I don't care. And that's what we're really about. That's what we're really about. So please, even if it's a membership or helping out in anything, and you just work in the background, don't have to be in the forefront of things. Use your talent. Save this country. If you're not part of this country, or you don't feel loyal to this country, then save your quality of life in this country. it's worth fighting for. All I'm going to say is, finish up now, is, as I say, I will not rest until this man is in Westminster.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. And that's my promise to David. I'm limited like anybody else, but what I can use, I will use. And I will not stop until he's there. God bless you, sir, for what you're doing. God bless you for your integrity, your wisdom, and your bravery. Thank you. Thank you.